Hey guys, welcome back. This is Cody with The Connected Camper. Today, we're going to be troubleshooting some water flow issues in my camper. Now, it could be a bad water pump, it could be some bad water lines, but needless to say, showering right now in my trailer is a little bit difficult because the water flow is so poor to my bathroom. I'm going to show you that here in just a second, but be sure to stick around and check out this troubleshooting steps in this troubleshooting video and potentially see what it takes to get water flow restored in your trailer. So just a quick recap of what actually happens is my water pump seems to suck air pretty frequently. Now, I don't know whether that's a problem with my tank or if it's the water pump or if there's something else going on. Now I'm actually going to run a test here and I'll show you what happens. So we can see that my freshwater tank is 3/4 of the way full. I'm going to turn my pump on. You can hear the pump engaging right now. You can hear it sucking up water, and it's actually going to build pressure right now. So that time it actually did build pressure. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here to the bathroom and we're going to actually run a test to see if it can actually get the shower to go. Now in the shower here, we're going to turn on the hot water and we're going to treat this just like we were going to take a shower. Obviously plenty of water pressure right now, but you're going to see that start to dwindle. And you can actually see the pressure coming all the way down and starting to suck air. And almost no water coming out. Now, the water pump can obviously build pressure, but it can't maintain that pressure. And now let's even try to kick the shower on. And it doesn't even have enough strength to hardly get any water dribbling out up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut this off. We're going to hook the camper up to an actual water spigot and see if the pressure is a problem in the pump or in the water lines. So now we can see we are hooked up to the city water spigot. I'm going to flip this on and let it pressurize the lines in there. And so we'll run inside and see what the water pressure looks like. So now we're on city water and we're going to see if the pressure stays the same and can actually get the shower head to work. Oh yeah, plenty of water pressure here. Not even fully open, and we're getting tons of water out of there. So that tells me that this is not a plumbing issue, and it's actually a water pump issue. So let's get down to it. So I'm fortunate enough to have a spare water pump with me. Now, I only learned this lesson from past experiences where a water pump completely went out. At least with this one, I was able to get water out of the faucet and get water to the toilet and everything else. But in previous instances, I've had water pumps straight up completely fail and not kind of halfway fail like this one. So I've got this Seaflow professional grade water pump that actually matches the specs of my other water pump that is down there right now. So I'm going to get to getting that old water pump out and get this one hooked up, and you guys will be along for the ride. Now, any project like this, we have both water and electrical happening in here. So what I'm going to do is play it safe. The water is shut off outside, and the water to the pump is actually getting shut off with this right here. So the water to the pump is also off. However, there's still going to be a little bit of water in there. So I've got some towels handy right here. But then I'm also going to kill the 12-volt system in here. So that way there's no chance of this potentially shocking me. Now the pump is off. However, I want to be abundantly sure that there's no chance of me getting shocked, so I'm going to kill the 12-volt system anyway. So you'll see the lights off the corner get shut off. However, this overhead light is powered just by a battery-powered flashlight. So, no more 12-volt power, and so what we're going to do is we're actually going to identify our hot and our negative. So right here, our positive, or hot, is right here, and this comes on the red line. And then our negative is this white line that goes to the black on the water pump. So this actually also has a 10 amp inline fuse right here, as you can see right here.
So I'm actually going to leave this in place because the other one needs it, because the other water pump needs a fuse as well. So I'm just going to disconnect this guy right here. So now that we've got our electrical unplugged, what we're going to do is get our water disconnected. Now under each of the areas where water could come out on both the left and right sides of it, I'm just going to put a towel under here. So that way any water that gets out just goes right onto this highly absorbent towel. Now on the left side, my lines just have this little twist off connection, right like this. And I say that it looks easy, but it's not, because I can't hardly reach this thing. And just for illustration purposes, this line right here is actually the city water connection. And then this line right here comes from my freshwater tank. So you can actually see that the city water connection comes through the pump here. It's just an interesting setup. I don't know if other RVs are like that, but this one definitely is. And so I'm going to remove this here. Just be ready for any remaining water that's in the line. We almost have this off. Now there was even more water in there than I anticipated, but just like anything else, we need to be prepared. We have plenty of towels, and I actually grabbed this bowl here to catch any of the additional drainage that's coming out of there. Now, of course, there's hardly any more water in there. As you can see, sorry, the lighting is pretty terrible because of the only place that I can hang this flashlight. However, we're going to move over here to the right side of the water pump. We're going to remove this fitting right here. And actually, we're not going to remove this one. We're going to remove this line right here, the input for the water. So I'm going to get that off with my drill. And then this strainer, we're actually going to replace this as well, because this strainer can collect debris, and we want to just make sure that this new pump is going in and not going to have anything hindering its flow. All right, now we have 4 screws, one here, and then on the back side that we need to remove. So we've got our old pump on the left and our new pump on the right. We do have this strainer here that I'm going to take a look at, and then we're going to get a new strainer installed on this side of the new pump as well. And then we're going to get some ferrules added to this, so that way they go in, added to our wires here, so that way they go into our Wago connectors nicely. Now this little baggie here comes with the water pump, this right here, and I will link these on Amazon, because I actually bought extra strainer filters for the purpose of thinking that this was not included. So I'm going to get this installed on this side of the pump. And actually, I can see right here, you might not be able to see it, but there are actually threads on this. So I'm just actually going to spin this strainer on, just like this. And we want to get it so that it's nice and level, right like that. And that should be a good, tight fit. All right. And looking at our other filter here, now you might not be able to see it, but there are actually little particles in there. That these things are important. So glad that this pump came with these fittings. So now I've got my ferrules right here that we're going to get crimped onto our red and black wires that come out of our new pump. Now, some folks may say that ferrules are optional or not needed or overkill. I'd rather have these on here just because, especially when we're dealing with stranded wire like this, if we were dealing with solid copper, it wouldn't be an issue. But with stranded wire like this, it tends to fall apart when I put it into either a a Wago or anything else, it tends to fall apart. And so these ferrule connections actually come out really nicely, are solid, and are going to go in our Wago connections really nicely. Now on our RV electrical connections here, we're going to I put these Wago connections on here just to be safe when I flip the 12 volt back on. The 12 volt is off right now, so I'm actually going to take this braided wire, we're going to run this through our ferrule. And once that's secured on there, I'll actually go grab an electrical cutter and we'll cut that tip off of there, so that way there's no fraying on the end. I'm going to do this to our other side. Alright, so we are ready to get our electrical connections set up. So we've got our red wire here. I'm going to put this into our one side of our Wago, like that. And then just flip the bridge down, make sure that it's secure. We'll grab our red wire from our pump, put that in the other side, put the bridge down, make sure that they are both secure. We'll do that with our negative side. Just like that. Now I'm actually going to get everything hooked up here without screwing it into the floor, because the last thing that I want to do is get this all hooked up and screwed into the floor just to find out that it doesn't work. Now, Seaflow is a very good brand. I've had this in motorhomes and other RVs, and so I'm not too concerned about it potentially not working. So I'm still gonna proceed with caution, just assume that it's not and have it prove me wrong. Now, these that were in the box actually need to be used on this side for this hose. Put in here, have this hose clamp hooked up to it, and then screwed onto that side of our strainer. All right, so we've got our input hooked up, we've got our output hooked up, we've got negative and then positive. And so now all we need to do is flip on our water shut off over here, flip this to on, and then I'm going to go flip on our 12 volt and see if this pump wakes up and pressurizes our system. All right, the moment of truth. Okay, we heard the pump kick on for just a second there. Now, we know that the lines are pressurized right now. So I'm actually going to come in here and just check around the pump, just put my finger back here. The water has all been wiped up by our towel here, and just making sure that we have no kind of unexpected leaks. Now, it is a little bit damp right here because of a little bit of the mess that I made earlier. However, the lines are pressurized now and I don't see any water dripping or anything else like that. It's also promising that the pump is not kicking on and off. That would mean that we would have a leak somewhere. It doesn't appear to be the case. So let's go check the shower and see what our pressure looks like now. We're back in the shower. I'm going to turn on the hot like we tested before. This looks promising. Let's kick on the shower head. Good pressure, and this thing is barely even turned on. It's working a little bit of air out of the system right now, but that's to be expected. Since we are happy with that result, we need to come back in here and get our screws put back into the floor that are going to secure the pump to the floor of the trailer. You can reuse previous holes, or since this is just a storage area, I'm not too concerned about reusing the holes. I'm just going to go round about the spot that it was in before.
And I'm doing those back ones first, the ones closer to the outside of the RV first, because those are a little bit more difficult to reach, and so I'd rather just get those knocked out first. And this pump is still on with all the faucets off, and it has built pressure, and honestly this thing is actually significantly quieter than my other one too. I mean, I didn't realize quite how bad the other one was until seeing this thing in here. Now the other one was performing pretty badly. So, thankfully, this wasn't that big of an issue. It wasn't plumbing, but it was our water pump. Thankfully, replacing a water pump takes about 30 minutes to an hour. An hour is the absolute max. It really isn't that difficult. So, if you like videos like this, or if this video helped you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or share this video with friends. I'm Cody with A Connected Camper. I'll see you next time.